begin our open session portion of the meeting. I will note for the record that all 4 board members are present. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance first. Let's see. Joe, I think it's a requirement if your spouse was on the Today Show, you have to help us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. Report action in closed session on item 2.1. The board denied an appeal and upheld the findings related to an appeal that was filed. Motion was made by Board Member Constant, second by Board Member Hall. The vote was 3-0 with 1 member absent from that vote. Huber, Constant, and Hall voted in the affirmative to deny the appeal. Hirota was absent. As to item 2.3, the board took action to approve Resolution 22-10 and approve dismissal charges and suspension of a teacher without pay. Motion made by Board Member Constant, second by Board Member Hall. Vote was 3-0 in the 3-0 with 1 member absent in the affirmative. And the affirmative votes were by Constant, Hall, and Huber. Hirota was absent. And as to item number 2.5, the board took action to reject a claim that was filed against the district. Motion made by Board Member Constant, second by Board Member Hall. Vote was 3-0 with 1 board member absent. Constant, Hall, and Huber in the affirmative. Board Member Hirota was absent. As to items 2.2 and 2.4, no reportable action was taken. Okay, on item 3.3, we've got the announcement of meeting protocols. I will again call your attention, as we had in the last meeting, that individual complaints against teachers will not be heard by this board. Those should be directed to the supervisor or at the site, or the principal at the site where the employee works. Recognition of 2022 classified employees of the year. Well, usually you're over here, aren't you?
So I'm not over there. All right. Good evening. This board agenda item is to recognize our classified employees of the year. Over the course of the past couple of years, COVID has definitely put a bit of a damper on our ability to fully recognize our students and our staff. Recently, we've had the ability to get back to more of our normal celebrations, more normal recognitions of our students and staff. And this year, we look forward to once again having normal graduation ceremonies and academic award ceremonies as we've been accustomed to over the years. Last month, we had the honor of recognizing our certificated employees of the year, and tonight we have the honor of recognizing our incredible classified employees of the year. One of the things before we get to them in this district that we often do is talk about how our high schools are small cities. If you'll bear with me for just a second, I think you'll get the point at the end of this. On a daily basis, buses start rolling before the sun comes up. Maintenance, grounds, facilities, and technology staff are opening our facilities to make sure that our classrooms and our facilities are warm, safe, and welcoming for our students and our staff. Office staff, paraeducators, and campus monitors arrive early to prepare for the arrival of both students and staff. Kitchen and custodial staff are hard at work cleaning the facilities and preparing meals for thousands of students from across the city. Of course, these same staff are continue to work hard during the school day and late into the evening and afternoon time. At the end of the day, coaches, night custodians, and staff from around the campus continue with the preparation, organization, and management of the activities, athletic competitions, and the numerous events that keep our schools open and running late at night. The RJUHSD classified employee group that we're going to talk about this evening truly is the heart of the district, behind the scenes that often goes unrecognized. And tonight, we want to take the opportunity to recognize how truly important they are in the day-to-day operations of what we do as the Roseville Joint Union High School District. So tonight, in recognizing these incredible employees, we'll have each employee come up to the podium, and their supervisor or principal will recognize them, say a few words about them, and then each employee will go over to the side over here and take a picture with Board President Huber as well as Superintendent Becker. Any questions before I go? Okay, all right. So our first employee that we will start with tonight is Anika Brooks, and her supervisor is Tony Ham, and Tony's going to come up and say a few words about Anika.
Thanks, Rob. This is a really fun time. Recognizing our classified staff is something that we really enjoy yearly, especially when I get the opportunity to recognize my teammates and have them nominated. It really is special. Now, I should say that when we received an email saying, we're going to say a few words about your staff member, I did realize that they didn't put a time limit on this. So I emailed my cohort and said, I'm going to be doing a 40-minute monologue, complete with song and maybe some props, but I'm finishing up budget development for Joe, so I had to cut it short. So maybe next year. I know Christopher's got his eye on that. I think, Rob put it pretty aptly to say that a lot of the classified staff and our support staff in our district, a lot of what they do and the success that they have really stems from them coming in early, staying late, and even oftentimes coming in on the weekend. A lot of times they're preventing a problem. So generally speaking, success is when nobody knows they're there half the time. Believe it or not, nobody really calls IT services when everything's going great. We don't get a phone call just to say hi. That generally doesn't happen. So usually when Anika is reporting to a classroom, it's because there's a high stress situation and people need support like quick, fast, and in a hurry. As a lot of you know, over the last year to 2 years, the demand for IT support and the correlation between curriculum and the support needed to support things like hybrid learning, it's been a bit like building a house in the middle of a hurricane to come up with some of these solutions. I wouldn't blame Anika at all for every day to come in with Gumby shoulders, frustrated, looking at me like, what do you want from me now, Tony? Like, what else are you gonna ask me to do? But when I say it was completely the antithesis of that, the attitude that Anika would come in every day, willing to do whatever it takes to help support our great teachers and our students to make that hybrid learning environment a reality and a success. When I say there wasn't one complaint, I'm being 100% honest. And for those of you who manage people, you know how miraculous that is, because oftentimes we're the backstop for complaints to kind of soak it in, and then let's get the mission accomplished. But Anika, every single day coming in, willing to do what it takes, really just displaying an empathy for our staff, and it really just exemplifies what you want in a teammate. So thank you, Anika. Congratulations.
Next is Paraeducator 1, Denise Crane, and Principal Isabel Gabev will be introducing her.
Hello, everyone. Thank you and good evening. I have the honor of speaking on behalf of Denise Crane. She is our para. As most of you know, this is my first year at Oakmont High School, so I've gotten to know the staff little by little. And Denise is one of those people that I'm honored to know. She is a Viking, one of the longest standing Vikings there. She's an impressive person. She's a kind person. She's genuine in her love and care and attention for students. She's always there to support her team, her teachers. And obviously, to me, it exemplifies what a para educator should do and commit to. So I have a few words that were prepared to speak about this in response that a lot of people couldn't be here for her, but I'm going to share a couple of words. Denise is the para with the most longevity at Oakmont High School. Her loyalty is unprecedented. Denise has volunteered throughout the years with graduation service for special education students, dances, proms, textbook returns, freshman incoming days. unified sports events. She's attended football games, and all the extra things that you would want a para to do, she does. Her dedication year after year is also evidenced by her impeccable attendance, only missing 4 work days in 17 years. Yes, that deserves a round of applause right there. Not many of us can say that. Denise is kind and caring to all around her. We are very lucky she is a Viking.
Next is campus monitor Kathy Ibovic.
Highly represent. Even Anika really belongs to Oakmont, but I'll let Tony. I'll let them have her. He really does. He can claim her, but really she belongs to us. Kathy, she is just a blessing to have. She's a joy. She's always smiling, always happy. Is always there for me when I need a ride to the district office and I don't feel like walking, or mostly because I'm running late. And so she always makes sure that I get there on time. So she's definitely saved me from being late to more than one meeting for sure. Although I shouldn't say that to cabinet because they expected to be there on time. She's the one that gets me there on time. So again, I've only gotten to know her this year, and we have a lot of interactions because we're out there in supervision. And what I can say about her, just personally, aside from sharing a few words from the collective, is that she really spends a lot of time getting to know students. And as a campus monitor, that's a big part of that job, having relationships with students so that when she has to redirect them or she has to remind them what the rules are, that relationship that she has established with students, that goes a really long way because the kids just don't want to disappoint her. They don't want to disrespect her. They want to do and make her proud, basically, is what she has instilled in the students. And of course, on occasion, we get a couple of kids that need more than one reminder. And sometimes they don't do everything we want them to do. And maybe we get a little disappointed, but she always just bounces right back and she comes back the next day, or not even the next day, maybe just even an hour later, and she's right there back at it, trying to work with the student, not ever holding grudges with them, really just there unilaterally supporting the kids. So now I want to share a couple of things that the staff also put together. Kathy has been a Viking for as long as people can remember. They just think she's been there forever, basically. They could not quite pinpoint when she started, but they're 29 years. So they said she's been here since we started, so we don't know when she started. So they just think she lives at Oakmont, maybe. She's always looking for ways to support teachers and students to ensure they feel safe and heard. As a longtime member of the Viking family, she is appreciated and loved by many on the Oakmont staff. As a campus monitor, she encounters students on their best days and their worst days. And no matter what, they feel supported when Kathy is by their side. She holds students accountable for their actions and is always looking for ways to connect with all students. We thank her for her years of service to Oakmont and her heart for our students and staff.
Next, we've got Director of Transportation Julie Guerrero introducing Jerry Merowitz, bus driver.
This is what it took the shift gears on a former bus. Just a little example. True. The ducks swim swimming in the water, you know, with the feet paddling. The life of a bus driver here. So, Jerry Merowitz. Jerry is extremely dedicated to her work. Jerry is tenacious in all the efforts, and she ensures that her equipment is safe and in working order every day. The service she provides is thorough and loaded with sincerity. Jerry is always more than willing to assist with extra assignments and comes to aid with just about any of the operational needs in the department. She has made herself very familiar with most of the students that we transport, so when we need her assistance with individual students or different routes, she knows where to go in a moment's notice. On top of the excellent service to the students, Jerry is kind and thoughtful to all of her workmates and management. She shows excitement when there's planning for a team building event or for a holiday gathering. She will donate her time and participate in any way that she can. She has also spent many volunteered hours training and performing in the Casto State Rodeo Competition, the school bus competition. Even during the times when she wasn't performing at the rodeo, she was there to root on her teammates. And she is indeed Roseville Joint Union High School's transportation's most supportive cheerleader. Jerry primarily transports our special needs students. Jerry goes out of her way to understand the needs of the students and goes beyond expectations to provide much more than just a ride to school. Just the other day, Jerry, you might remember this, I noticed her pulling a small rolling carrying-on suitcase out of her personal vehicle. And I jokingly asked her, "Hey, you going on a trip?" And Jerry responded, "Oh, this? No, it's filled with books and widgets and toys for the kids. Just a little trick I brought with me when I drove for Pride. I also carry a rope with knots just in case there's a need to evacuate the bus where the students could hold on to the rope so they follow together. The students could hold on and stay together," she told me. This is just a prime example of the dedication and love for her work. She truly wears her heart on her sleeve, and I love working with Jerry just because I know she will always give her 100%. Not only that, she is humble, respectful, and joyous. She makes us smile and makes us happy all the time in her presence. Thank you, Jerry.
Next is Maintenance 2 employee Terry Smith. Unfortunately, Terry is not able to be here this evening. However, Chris Knapp, his supervisor, was able to give me a brief statement, so I do want to recognize Terry and read you what Chris had to say. Terry is a great employee, peer, and coworker. Terry has been a part of the GBHS maintenance team for over 20 years, since 2002. While he worked briefly with the grounds team, his role in the maintenance office is really where Terry has excelled in serving Granite Bay High School. His his caring approach to all concerns, his teamwork and coworkers, staff, students, and everyone at GBHS, and his vast knowledge continues to make Granite Bay one of the strong high schools in our district. Terry loves sports, working with teams and coaches, help provide the best conditioning for them to succeed. I actually think that's where Terry is at tonight. I think he had a competition that he could not get out of. His understanding of the academic needs of the classrooms keeps Terry's flexibility and on his toes, getting access to all of the classrooms and making sure that the work is done on a daily basis. He is the first to offer a helping hand to see that something, if something needs to be done, and just goes to work and gets it done. He is a can-do person, and we love having Terry as a part of our team. So congratulations to Terry Smith from Granite Bay High School. Next and last but certainly not least is Caitlin Strawn, Administrator 2 Secretary at Oakmont High School.
I think Rob Hasty should stay up here as well because he knows that he can't live without this one either. And I say that in jest, but really it's actually true because Caitlin is. I have a few words that I'll share about her as well. But Caitlin, you know, I tease her a lot because I feel like I've won her over, and maybe she likes me more than Rob Hasty. But you know, we are McDonald's buddies, which he will never eat McDonald's, and I love McDonald's. I'm not ashamed to say it, and we love it, and we eat it whenever we can. Although we try to take it easy when she was before she had her baby, but she really genuinely cares about whomever is sitting in that principal's office. She really wants to make sure that that person's successful, that she knows and understands the critical role that we play as the principal of the school, and she's there to offer, you know, just support. She knows when I'm stressed. She knows when I'm happy. She knows the words that are going to probably come out of my mouth before they come out of my mouth. And I know that she was there with Rob for many, many years, and his success probably has a lot to do with her as well, because I know that's how I feel about her. And I don't think a lot of people recognize that. She's absolutely amazing. I wouldn't have been able to survive if it weren't for her. So she knows that, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows that she's really what has made me just survive, basically. Here are a couple of words about Caitlin. Caitlin Strawn has been working at Oakmont High School since 2016. I almost asked her to write this bio for me because she's that good. And I need her all the time. But her time at Oakmont started long before that. She's actually an OHS alumni, a Viking through and through. She was a student in the Health Academy, where she has told me that that's where she learned the value of teamwork, professionalism, collaboration, respect, and above all, hard work. Caitlin has taken that skill set and applied it to everything she does for Oakmont. Every Viking knows that if something needs to get done, they reach out to Caitlin. Without hesitation, she takes care of all of us. When she stepped into being the principal secretary, before I was there, she stepped into a critical role which goes far beyond processing purchase orders or monitoring the budget. Everything she does is with utmost pride, respect, and a smile on her face, no matter the situation. Caitlin's dedication to our staff is unprecedented and unmatched. We are so grateful for her passion for hard work, accountability, and all things Oakmont. In my 12 years as a school administrator, I have worked with many administrative assistants, office managers, and principal secretaries, and I can tell you that she is by far the best that I've ever worked with. I can honestly say that my success this year is almost exclusively due to her guidance and wisdom. Everyone that comes in contact with Caitlin can truly say that they are blessed by knowing her. I know I am blessed and honored to have her by my side every day. Thank you.
In addition to their recognition here tonight, each RJUHSD classified employee of the year is moving on to the Placer County Office of Education Employee of the Year process for consideration as the Placer County classified employee of the year. And I have no doubt that our 6 employees from Roseville Joint will represent us very well at the county level. So please, once again, join me in congratulating Anika, Denise, Kathy, Jerry, Terry, and Caitlin. Congratulations.
congratulations to the 6 of you, and no pressure, but we do have a higher than normal average of our individuals becoming the county person of the year. So no pressure to you, but we look forward to good things. Okay, communications.
The Placer County Office of Education, finalizing our 2021 audit report. We had one area to address, and that has been completed by Joe's office. And so we have a letter confirming that our 2021 audit has been approved. And then we also, just to highlight, we had 2 letters that came from the Placer County Office of Education and Board, and they are letters. It was requested by all county superintendents, but letters of opposition for SB 866 and SB 871. Those are some of the vaccination, COVID vaccination bills out there, and really to summarize what those letters were saying was to allow parents and guardians to make these important decisions.
Yeah, and again, those letters came from the county. I am for communications. I have asked Superintendent Becker to place this item on our next agenda. I'm going to prepare a draft for this body to approve, to send, to also oppose those same bills. That'll be on the next agenda. Okay, we do not have a student board representative. Committee reports. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I do. On communications, we have received several communications regarding an issue at Oakmont High School and the band. And so I've asked Assistant Superintendent Brad Basham to give the most up-to-date information we have on this matter. I can tell you, they've been working tirelessly behind the scenes, so you'll get the most up-to-date information right here.
No pressure.
Up to the minute, no pressure, just
No pressure. So just to give you guys an update, first of all, I want you to understand how important the performing arts are to this board, to district administration, to our principals. We know how important it is to you. And as a former Viking and also having worked at 2 schools, both Oakmont and Roseville, as I saw declining enrollment when other schools opened, I understand the concerns that you have. We had our first staffing meeting in early March, and that's like a big puzzle. We're talking 500 plus teachers that we're making sure that we have positions for based on our student enrollments, based on the courses that they've selected. And so we're identifying where we're going to be hiring, where we're going to be transferring, and that's what we're in the middle of doing right now. And we have a lot of change. We have West Park growing, we have Oakmont declining, Roseville's declining slightly. At the same time, we're opening Roseville Pathways, and so we're moving teachers there as well. So there's a lot of movement right now, which I know has caused some uncertainty. With that said, we're dedicated to making sure that the band program at Oakmont High School continues to grow and thrive. I know that Warren T. Ike has been doing an outstanding job, and they have some incredible students coming over to Oakmont. And so we see that pathway. And so what we're trying to do is figure out, are we able to fill this internally? Because we have to make sure that we have all of our folks with the position, or do we need to go external? So that's where we're at right now. We're exploring all of our options internally first. And what we're seeing is that we may not have the right person internally, because even though they all hold maybe a music credential, they specialize. Some in choir, some in piano, some in guitar, some in marching band. And so that's what we're doing right now, is we're looking at all of those options, and then we're going to make that next decision. Now, it's looking like, based on what I've gone through today, it's looking like we'll probably post a position. So if you know somebody out there who's going to be an incredible band director that may be interested, once we post that, they can apply. But we still want to explore a couple of more internal options first. And if they don't work out, then I will give Dr. Govea the go-ahead to post that position. Certainly, our Oakmont parents that have been involved in this, our students that have been involved in this, I know that there's probably going to be an interest to be part of that process. And so certainly, Dr. Govea will work with the parents to include you on any kind of interview panel and selection committee that takes place here over the next month or so. So I just wanted to give you that update. We didn't forget about you, and I know there's a lot of rumors going on out there, but we know how important it is to continue to have a thriving visual and performing arts program at our schools, regardless of whether or not you have 1,400 kids or 3,000 kids. And we know that we need to make sure that we support you moving forward. Very welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Brad. It reminds me of that statement, you know, the rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. But anyway, so we have some speaker cards, and we have in the recent past gotten in the habit of calling on students first. I have some that I know are students here, so I'm going to call on them first. Then I'll ask if there are any others, and then we'll go to the other speaker cards. Evan Fiddler. Evan Fiddler, you're first. Evan. Then after Evan will be Birdie, and then after Birdie will be William Ponsetti. Please.
So, as you may be able to tell by the T-shirt, I am here representing the Oakmont Royal Blue Regiment. So, I know that this was just addressed. Thank you, sir. However, I will still deliver my speech as it was applicable as of 6:11 p.m. 1 minute
Evan,
before we got that email.
Evan, do me a favor. We have like thousands and thousands of people watching from home.
Yes?
Could you speak right into the microphone, please?
Oh, my apologies.
Thank you. By the way, I'm under no delusion that there are thousands of people watching this, but please go ahead.
Evening. My name is Evan Fiddler, and I am a member of the Oakmont High School Band, also known as the Royal Blue Regiment. I and many of my band members are here tonight to address concerns we have about the future of the musical performing arts at Oakmont High School. It is our understanding that the Oakmont administration currently intends to make staffing changes that would result in the Oakmont choir director teaching both choir and band classes during the 2022-2023 school year. My colleagues and I believe that this decision would be an inappropriate decision for many reasons. Firstly, the Oakmont choir director does not have experience in instrumental music. Thus, it stands to reason that she would not perform well in a position in which she must teach with a mastery of the subject. Furthermore, both positions of being a band director and choir director are highly time-consuming jobs, and both require just as much time and dedication outside of the classroom as they do in the classroom. Considering how much time and effort is put into both, I hope you see why having a single person filling both positions would be an inappropriate staffing decision. Next, to address the reason these staffing changes are being made in the first place, Oakmont High School will be losing approximately 300 students next year. We believe that this is the reason that many departments at Oakmont are being changed in order to better suit the new needs on our campus. While we understand that staffing changes may need to be made to better fit Oakmont for the 2022-2023 school year, we believe that removing a dedicated band director is the wrong call. Because, despite the fact that Oakmont High School as a whole will be going down in attendance, the Royal Blue Regiment is set to grow by 25% in the following year, next year. It is for these reasons, that we have a dedicated band director who is experienced in instrumental music. It is for these reasons that having a dedicated band director who is experienced in instrumental music is paramount to having a successful band program at Oakmont. And every single person that has come here tonight in order to support the Royal Blue Regiment is dedicated and passionate about having a good, successful band program at Oakmont. So on behalf of the Royal Blue Regiment, and on behalf of everybody who has come here to support us tonight, we need to have a band director at Oakmont High School.
Thank you, Evan. I apologize, Evan. I let you go long because I forgot to tell you that the time limit was 1:30. So I let you go because I know you probably had 3 minutes worth there. So no worries, no worries. We love hearing from students. Birdie is next, and then after Birdie, Is it now Faith? Yeah, please, Bertie, come on up, and then after Bertie is William. And Bertie, minute and a half, go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Bertie Ngalpasi. I'm a member of the Oakmont Band, and I would like to address the issue of funding. So, we understand that our principal is new. She is stepping into a budget that was already in place. The problem is that it is exceedingly obvious that this budget has been too low for too long. We have lockers full of broken instruments that have been well loved, well taken care of, but we do not have the money to maintain them. And therefore, people who are passionate about these instruments cannot play them. I'm concerned about the growth of this program. We have already grown so much, and we are going to grow more. But we cannot keep that once people see that we do not have enough to actually maintain that size of a program. We're already hanging by a thread as it is. So we ask that the funding for the band program is increased. Thank you very much.
Thank you. William Ponsetti, and then after William, I'll ask if we have any other students who want to speak, 'cause I couldn't tell from some of the cards. William, please.
Okay, so over quarantine and post-quarantine, Oakmont's band was the only school in the district that whose band grew. Like Granite Bay shrunk by 50%. Other schools have a much higher budget than ours, like over $30,000 more than ours, and we deserve a good band teacher. And I don't know how that will work, considering that the Oakmont band program has such a small budget. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any other students that wanted to speak on this item? Please come on up and tell me your name. Did you fill out a card?
I did.
Tell me your name.
My name's Kira Lee.
Oh, Kira Lee, perfect. You were next on my list.
Oh, perfect. All right. Good evening, school board, and whom it may concern. My name is Kira Lee, and I'm a senior at Oakmont High School. I'm currently the band president and have been for the last 2 years. I'm here today on behalf of the band, as this week the band has heard of potential cuts, as was addressed. And just like Evan, I would like to deliver my speech kind of as planned. We hope that you would consider filling the position with a director who has the knowledge, skill, ability, and experience to teach various instruments, music theory, and to teach the etiquette of marching and symphonic band. You would be doing a tremendous disservice to current and future band members by not having a dedicated instructor who inspires learning and growth, thus diminishing interest in the Oakmont band program. This would lead student musicians to enroll in other schools in and outside of the district that do have strong band programs. Those who have no choice but to attend Oakmont may not have the opportunity to pursue music outside of a school environment. The music program at Oakmont should not be seen as a disposable elective. We provide funding and instruction for various sports and other extracurricular activities. There are kids who love football, volleyball, dance, and basketball. But our passion is music and the arts. This is our outlet and opportunity to participate in a team, build camaraderie, develop leadership skills, explore a healthy outlet for mental health, and most importantly, make memories and have fun during our high school experience. Personally, the band program at Oakmont has taught me more in 4 years than any other program I've been involved in. As you know, I'm a senior and these decisions will not affect me, but it'll affect everyone who has dedicated themselves to the Oakmont band and any other students who want and need a music program. Thank you.
Thank you. And Kira, thank you for also serving as the band president. It's you take on a lot of extra tasks with that, and it's a lot of times a thankless job. So thank you for taking on the band president role. Any other students wish to address the board on this item? If not, we'll go to the list that we have. Seeing none. Okay, Alyssa Benzike is next, and then Matthew Schwartz. Okay, and then Deanna Ponsetti. Please.
Hello, so my name is Alyssa Bazink. It doesn't sound like it's spelled. So my
Sorry.
signature line always helps with the pronunciation. but
Benzink?
Bazink,
Bazink.
yes.
Okay.
Valiant effort.
Thank you.
So I am the choir director at Oakmont High School currently, and I found myself in a torturous situation over the last couple weeks, trying to figure out how to staff music at Oakmont High School. And one of the solutions was for me to step in as the band director. And so I just really want to thank the district office and for Oakmont and everyone who worked on creating a better solution than somebody who's never played in the band becoming the band director. And I feel that I really appreciate the support of the Oakmont band family, who are sort of like my sidekick family. And I feel like they definitely deserve to have a choir director, not a choir director, definitely not a choir director, a band director who will be able to lead them and grow and prepare for the comeback after the pandemic. I want to thank the Oakmont band directors, Paul Everts and Sonora Mello, because despite the adversity of the pandemic, they were able to grow the band by 25%, which is not what should be expected of other band programs. The pandemic has real consequences, and they are going to reverberate for a while. Also want to point out that Jennifer Aldridge at Ike Middle School is doing an incredible job and growing the program and has plans to regrow the choir as well. I do want to have a larger conversation about how to support performing arts throughout the district in the comeback. And I hope that we can have a vision for how to support teachers in funding, but also in many other ways. We were able to meet as a PLT of music directors, and they have a lot of concerns and challenges that lead to turnover with performing arts teachers within our district. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Matthew Schwartz, then Deanna Ponsetti, and then Ross Tucker.
My name is Matthew Schwartz. I am the previous Oakmont Performing Arts Boosters president. And first I want to start by saying thank you for making the decision to have a full-time band teacher. It's very, very important to the school and to your students. It really is. I've been working for the previous several years with Mr. Hasty, and I just spoke with Dr. Convey last night for the very first time. And one thing that is very apparent is funding for the performing arts. To run the marching band program, a minimum of $20,000 to $30,000 a year. And you're talking about buses for transportation, field show preparation, staff, instructors, drill, music, your transportation, your buses to get there, feed the kids. Everything adds up. What I'm asking for, is there any consideration in the budget for reallocation of funds to help Oakmont for their band? Or, this might be maybe a little much, is there any way for reclassification of Oakmont High School? Are they close enough to meet a Title I school so that funding can be implemented that way? I don't know what an answer is, right or wrong, but funding is definitely down. It's my understanding that there's, in the ballpark, depending on how the years are going, somewhere between like $10,000 and maybe $15,000 allocated to the performing arts. Then split 4 ways between drama, dance, band, choir. You're talking $500 to maybe $7,500 per department. It's not enough to fund band, but if there's anything that the board, the district, superintendents, the school can do, if there's any connections that anyone has to help out, we would love that. And again, I don't know if there's any right or wrong answer, but funding is definitely the biggest issue. But again, thank you so much for making a full-time band director for that position. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Deanna Ponsetti, Ross Tucker, and then Sonia, is it Kins? Please.
Hi, my name's Deanna Ponsetti. My son is a freshman at Oakmont, and I just have to say that I appreciate what we're hearing tonight, but I hope that it actually comes to fruition, because an email I received earlier and then what was just stated tonight don't completely add up. So I'm hoping that they get on the same page. And I know that you guys know we have a declining enrollment. I was here about a month ago talking about that, talking about my concerns for Oakmont, asking you guys to look out for Oakmont, and then you approved a charter that's going to be in our attendance area. So that makes me nervous. I mean, these are the problems we're facing. We're facing funding issues. Funding issues come from, we get money and funding for students. And if we're not getting students, we don't have funding, we can't keep our programs. So as a mom, like, my priority is to my kid, and I want them to have the best experience possible. I want them to stay at their home school. Their home school is Oakmont. That's where I want them to be. I teach at Ike. They can walk over after school. This is like the perfect arrangement for me. I don't like when I'm being put into a position where I'm now looking at other schools in the district and considering a transfer so that my son can have the band experience that he deserves to have. We are growing our program. Jen Aldridge is my colleague. We're in the same department. She's amazing. However, kids are not going to want to go to Oakmont if we don't have a good program, if we don't have instruments that are available to students who can't afford their own. And the band director was asking, it was not a lot of money, and she was told she didn't have the funding to fix them. Those are problems that we need to look into. I am hopeful that we're going in the right direction, and it's going to be interesting for me to wait and see what happens. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ross, and then Sonia, and then Brian Richter.
Thank you, board, for approving, well, these plans about approving a new director full-time. I hope that this isn't something that we have to come back and deal with every year. I understand declining enrollment, and everyone is aware of these changes in enrollment. I participated in band when I was in high school. I grew up in a rural town. We had 150 people in my high school graduating class. We had a band the same size as Oakmont. We had a successful marching band, performing, traveling winter programs, a full-time band director. So a school much smaller than Oakmont, and it was successful. And I am still concerned, as many other people have expressed, the idea that the administration would consider giving a band program to someone who had never participated in band. Someone who's never been in marching band can't run a marching band. It's just not possible. So once again, I'm happy that funding has been approved for next year. It should be approved every year going forward, and we shouldn't have to consider other schools in the district to allow our kids to have the full band experience that they deserve. Thank you.
Okay, Sonia, then Brian Richter.
Evening. I'm a parent of a current sophomore at Oakmont High School in the Health Academy pathway, and also of a 2021 graduate from Oakmont who was in band all 4 years. I'm truly concerned about the overall impacts on declining enrollment at Oakmont caused by the district's attendance boundaries and the shiny allure of the new West Park campus, specifically as it impacts Oakmont High School for the upcoming school year and beyond. But today I'm focused on band and the changes that might harm Oakmont's music program in irreparable ways. Ike is the sole feeder middle school is IB, like Oakmont. They've been building and expanding its band program, and the students there have been shown the Oakmont band as the next step. The former band teacher, Mr. Everett, worked closely with Ms. Aldridge at Ike to foster this transition to high school band. VAPA is required to graduate. It's required for IB. My son wasn't interested in art, ceramics, dance, drama, choir, but he truly enjoyed band. Band is a community. It's not just for kids who've taken private lessons or played instruments since they were in elementary school. These kids spend hours together at school, after school, on weekends. They prepare for competitions and concerts. The students want to be there. They want to spend time together. I was on the percussion pit crew. My husband towed a trailer. Band is a lot of work. Students would not be there if they did not want to be. The Oakmont Band was a community that supported my son during the highs and lows of high school. Some of his strongest friendships came from band. In band, he learned valuable leadership skills, and he and his bandmates experienced how each member's efforts truly come together to make the whole performance greater than the sum of its parts. Taking away or minimizing band as a VAPA option for IB leaves so many students without suitable options, without their community. I'm asking the board's help in keeping band available to all Oakmont students, to all students in the district, now and going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan Richter.
It came to my attention last night, I was at the Antelope High School Community Forum, that Antelope High School has been looking to get a third campus monitor for several years now. It seemed to be in excess of 5 was my impression. I'm here to say be in excess of 5 was my impression. I'm here to say, why haven't we done that yet? So if we can work that into next year's budget, I'd appreciate the heck out of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the board on any items that are not on the agenda that did not turn in a speaker card? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Motion by Board Member Constant, and second by Board Member Hirota. Barbara, roll call vote.
Pete Constant. Heidi Hall. Yes. Julie Hirota.
Yes.
And Scott Huber.
Yes. Okay, item 5.1, RSEA report. No report this time, okay. We won't take that as a slight against us, don't worry. Okay, next item, 6.1, public hearing, district contract proposals to RSEA.
Yes, the purpose of this item is to allow public comment on the contract proposals to be negotiated between the district and RSCA for the 22-23 school year. And once accepted, to refer that information to staff for negotiations. This year, in addition to Article 5 wages and Article 6 health benefits, we're going to open 2 additional articles. The district would like to open Article 8 leaves and Article 18 independent study. So at this time, it's appropriate for the board to ask for any comments from the public on these contract proposals. And those comments have been part of the record and moved on to staff.
Okay, item 6.1, let's go ahead and open up the public hearing. Anybody wish to address the board on this item? Please, Mr. Richter.
Again, last night at the high school community forum, what came up was a lot of excitement about dual enrollment. And I'm wondering, is there anything in this contract, either from the district or from the unit, which I know is the next item, that is promoting this, if it's additional pay for higher degrees or some sort of payback on tuition or something like that, if that could be improved possibly. Because dual enrollment is a big success. I think we need to push it harder.
Yeah.
That's my question, comment.
While we don't normally get into this kind of stuff, I can tell you, I know we do offer higher pay for those who have master's degrees and above. And do you want to add anything to that? You're not required to. This is not Cuba, but if you want to.
I understand. I'm just want to be careful because we're sunshining the articles, and this is talking about something that's not one of the articles. But I can say that we do have a side letter agreement with RSCA regarding dual enrollment. We also have a reimbursement for, I'm trying to remember what that stipend is. Yeah, it's $5,000 towards anyone who's earning a master's degree in the content area. So we have some things in place, Mr. Richter, but that wouldn't be part of these negotiations. That was a side letter agreement that was agreed upon previously.
Okay, anybody else wish to address the board on item 6.1? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And is this, do we have to approve this item, or is it just public hearing? Just public hearing, yes?
No, you have to approve it.
Okay, is there a motion to approve? Motion by Board Member Constant, second by Board Member Hall. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries 4-0. 6.2, public hearing, RSEA contract proposals to the district.
Once again, this would be a open to public comment. These are RSCA's articles that they would like to open. So in addition to wages and benefits, they're requesting to open Article 7, hours of employment, and Article 10, class size.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open a public hearing. Anybody wish to comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Is there a motion? Motion by Board Member Constant. Second by Hirota. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries 4-0. 6.3, request for a sabbatical leave of absence.
Yes, the purpose of this item is to consider the request for a sabbatical leave of absence for the 2022-23 school year submitted by Ms. Elizabeth Henderson, science teacher at Granite Bay High School. Ms. Henderson is requesting a sabbatical leave of absence. Her application is Exhibit A in your packet. During the 2022-23 school year in order to complete her doctorate in educational leadership through USC. Ms. Henderson has been a valued member of the Granite Bay High School Science Department since 2015, and she has always received positive performance evaluations. Ms. Henderson is here this evening. She prepared a brief PowerPoint, just a few slides. I want to give her the opportunity to explain her project to you, and then we'll go back into the rest of the item. Ms. Henderson.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to meet with you tonight. It's my privilege to work for both Granite Bay High School and Independence High School, and I have had the joy of teaching all things science, from IB biology to physiology, including our NGSS physics, NGSS chemistry, and NGSS biology, both online and in person. And it's also been my pleasure to work on our NGSS science curriculum and transition team. This unique experience, combined with my educational pursuits, has given me an opportunity to do a dissertation. And that dissertation will be focusing on my work in curriculum implementation and that process as a whole. So an executive summary, as I'm sure you've all seen, I'm going to go as quickly as possible, is to provide research. And for all of our high schools in our district, this NGSS curriculum implementation is very important for securing our future in science, education, and embarking on a cycle of continuous improvement. I will be offering recommendations based on my data to inform and improve curriculum development and implementation as a whole, because one thing we know for sure is that change is constant, and there will be future curriculum adjustments moving forward. I'm going to be identifying the percentages of students that are broken down by subgroup identified in our LCFF LCAP, and we're going to look at who are we serving in our science program and NGSS courses. I want to gather data by subgroup and who's opting to take that third year of NGSS chemistry, as well as our IB and AP electives. We'll be looking at what outcomes our students are achieving, principally on the CASP exam, and we're going to be looking both by site and at the district overall. And with those two pieces of data, I'm going to dig in deep, and we're going to figure out why, if there's any patterns that we're noticing in the data, why we're seeing those patterns, and where we should act. We're going to be looking at district curriculum leadership team, all the way down to site level teachers and counselors, and of course, asking our students, how was your experience in your NGSS courses? And following up with both feedback, surveys, interviews, and ask them, did you like it? How'd it go? And what do you think? This is my proposed timeline. You can see it's going to take me a while to do this in-depth research, and I will require the time to access our faculty, teachers, counselors, and students as well. Hopefully by the end of this, I end up with a workable dissertation and research that I can bring back to the district, and we can apply it as we develop our curriculum and improve our science education. For me, it's all about understanding. And this is a very complex system and a lot of interactions that need to be in place to best support teachers and students. I hope to apply my skills as both scientist and a qualitative and educational researcher to bring back useful data to allow us to continue to improve as a district. This benefits our district. I have a lot of partnership and experience working with our teachers and our curriculum leadership team, and I look forward to really investing all of that knowledge and experience into building the personal capital of our faculty, without which we can't get the job done. I know our students and teachers are depending on quality feedback and research for program evaluation and implementation moving forward, and I just want to be able to contribute to that. We'll have a partner in educational research, and hopefully our insights will allow us to apply for a continuous cycle of improvement in our future curriculum and development. I've been really inspired by our recent women in leadership, and hope with your support to join them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Before you leave, board members, any questions? Any questions directly of Ms. Henderson? Thank you very much.
Section 13 of Article 8 governs how we apply, receive, review, approve sabbatical leave request. Ms. Henderson's request was evaluated by a sabbatical screening committee composed of 3 members, 2 of whom are members of RSCA, and 1 was selected by our superintendent, Mr. Becker. The screening committee submitted a report, which is Exhibit C in your packet, and it was approved with a 2-to-1 vote. Staff does not have a recommendation as to whether to approve or deny the request. However, the board should be aware that there is a cost associated with this request, and the estimated costs are attached as Exhibit D in your packet. The board has 3 options. One is to approve the sabbatical leave, which includes the 50% salary and the medical benefits for the 2022-23 school year, to approve an unpaid sabbatical leave of absence, denying the salary component, or denying the sabbatical leave altogether.
Comments, questions, thoughts? Please.
A couple of questions. So we've had this policy in place for quite a while.
Yes, it's been in the collective bargaining agreement, I think, as long as I've been in the district, and that's been a very long time. I've only, in my time, I only remember it happening 1, maybe 2 times. We had a teacher that was actually working at Sacramento State University. There was an agreement there for sabbatical leave, and while he worked there in their writing project. And then a couple of years ago, I think it was board approved a sabbatical leave request for a teacher that was applying for a Fulbright scholarship. Unfortunately, she didn't receive it, so we didn't have to honor the leave. But those are the only 2 times that I'm aware of.
I'm looking at the review committee report. When I look at the arguments or the rationale for approval, it seems pretty strong that the argument or rationale against approval, a couple just kind of, I don't know, sat kind of funny with me. One, potential for precedents being set for the future. When we have a policy, we've done this in the past, so I just don't think that any action on this one issue should be seen in a potential negative light because of a precedent setting. We have precedents. It's something that's been a policy for quite a while, as well as the third bullet about many people work full-time and pursue higher education on their own time. I know that because I'm doing that myself. and I'm going on my 10th year to get my doctorate, so I hope it doesn't take that long for you. But I just, again, sort of a editorial opinion, if we really feel that way, then we shouldn't. I just think that when we have these committees, the discussion should be around the policy and the pros and the cons within the policy, not necessarily editorializing on whether we should have the policy. That's a separate discussion. That's just my editorial comment for when this comes up in the future. Those are just my comments.
Okay. Any others? Heidi, anything?
I'm allowed to ask.
Well, I'll tell you what, whisper it, and I'll tell you if you're allowed to ask it or not.
But I just was reading in sabbatical requirements. She must have worked together 7 years. Is there anything preventing her? You know, like, what if she goes and does this and we approve it and she gets the doctorate and then leaves? Is there an amount of time that she has to stay working in the district? And if you can't answer that,
No,
that's
I
okay.
think that's a fair
Valid
question.
question.
And it also goes back to what Mr. Constant was talking about in terms of, we have an agreement with RSCA in terms of sabbatical leave. So if we want to make changes to that, then that has to be negotiated. So one of those things that could be negotiated is that if a sabbatical leave is approved, that there is a time commitment to the district afterwards as an investment. Currently, with Ms. Henderson's request, we do not have that requirement, and we have to go on trusting and having that faith that, based on the merit of the project, which is academic in nature, and using Roseville Joint as a for the study and our commitment to NGSS, that no, she's not going to abandon us after she gets her doctorate.
I
But
don't think that she would.
there's
I
nothing
just
that-
was asking.
There's nothing keeping her.
I have a comment, not a question. Are we at comments yet?
Almost.
Okay.
Close. Yeah, close. No comment?
I have a comment, not a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, but no, I'm sorry.
No
Confused.
questions.
No questions. Okay. I do have a question. The policy provides for 50% salary at the maximum. Yes. And I saw it was broken out, but it's 50%, and I couldn't really tell if it was 50% salary, but 100% benefits.
100% the district's contribution to the cap.
Right. Right. So okay. I thought that was the case. Okay. So enough of comments, or I'm sorry, enough of questions. Comments. Julie, please. We'll work the other direction with comments.
Well, so the policy's in place, and I think it's a huge benefit to have someone pursue this and come back. And in the sciences, I'm highly in favor of it. That being said, post this decision, I would like to see if we can review this to align with what Ms. Hall was saying. I don't think that's uncommon to ask years of service following an investment. We don't have it in place right now, so reason to have that be involved in this decision. But I'd like to see that come back for sure. I think it's a huge benefit to the district to have these incentives for further education.
Yeah, and go working down the line this way, I agree with that. I'd love to see this come back. I do think it's a benefit to the district. I would love to also see some years of service afterwards. So like, for example, however much we offer, have it be forgiven. Like if you have 2 years of service afterwards, you forgive 50% the first year, 50% the second year is forgiven. So it could make it like a loan, right? An interest-free loan, and then you forgive it the first year, although I'm not sure tax-wise it would work out that way. We'd have to figure, but anyway, I know I'm sort of blending two different departments here in my comments, but anyway, I would love to see some years of service. Again, that's not to say that others who have done this, I know with the individual who was trying to get a Fulbright scholarship, she had said, and I think most of the candidates state they're going to come back to this district and give service to the district. I think it provides goodwill. I would also love to see, gosh, I had another thought at the same time. It was years of service and something else. So I'm going to pass it to my colleagues and I'll come back with my comment as soon as I remember. Pete.
So I think we should encourage this behavior, and I know there's a cost to it, but the benefit, boy, if 100 teachers wanted to get their doctorates over the next 10 years, it's a wonderful thing. And I say that not only as someone who's been struggling to get mine done between balancing work and job changes, family issues and all that, it really takes a big commitment. I also say that as someone who works for a university, these are important things to support. We just sunshine what we're going to negotiate, so we got to be careful we don't unsunshine things as we look at negotiations. I'll just make an editorial comment there. I know in my service at the city of San Jose, we tried to implement something similar for trainings, particularly police academy training, because it's very expensive. And we were told we couldn't do that, so we'd have to really make sure we check those legal aspects for it. But I'm very supportive of this. I think we should actually encourage it, and the stronger we can make the policy to encourage it.
And I think it's wonderful. I didn't realize that we offered this prior to you applying. So I think it's great, and agree with and yeah, don't leave us.
So
Just kidding.
So I remember the other component is, I think we ought to encourage it, but I think we ought to have a maximum number of individuals that can participate at the same time. Because in theory, we have an open policy. We could have, in theory, we could have 300 teachers say, hey, I'd like to, do that. Now, that means we'd have to be very selective as to what we do. We'd run out of money fast. So I think we need to have a cap of how many teachers at the same time can. Now, again, I know I say that, and yet in recent memory, we've had exactly, I think, a grand total of 3, I think, that we know of, that we can remember. I've been on the board 18 years, almost 18 years. This is only the second one I've ever seen. So, I think economics makes this very different. But anyway, so I think you all know where we stand. Board members, does someone like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion. Sabbatical leave in accordance with our.
Are you looking at the first bullet point with the leave and salary for 2022-23? Okay. Motion by Board Member Constant, second by Hirota. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries 4-0. Congratulations. No pressure, but we expect great things. Okay, and please come back. That's the other piece we would love to. I know we can't force you to do that, but please come back. Next. Employment of first-year certificated staff, 6.4.
Yes, the purpose of this item is the reemployment of those certificated staff members who have successfully completed the 21-22 school year as probationary certificated employees. The evaluation cycle for probationary staff has been completed. It's appropriate at this time for the board to formally authorize the employment of the following first-year probationary certificated employees, and 61 listed down below, granting them second-year probationary status as indicated at the beginning of the 2022-23 school year.
Motion by Board Member Constant. Second by Board Member Hall. All those in favor? Actually, any comments before we take a vote? I actually will make a comment. This is a long list, and it is indicative that we are running into a shortage of teachers just generally speaking, because we have so many that are first years that are coming in. There are some great names on this list, and there are some great people on this list, one of which is sitting at the other end of this table. And so I just want to say, in anticipation of what I suspect will be a positive vote, very well deserved. And you were doing a great job. So with that, we had a motion and a second. Yes? We did? Yes, we did. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries 4-0. Okay, 6.5, designation of permanent certificated staff.
So this item is to confer permanent status on those certificated staff members who have successfully completed their probationary period. Following staff, certificated staff, and the 44 members there have successfully completed their 2-year probationary status employment period and are entitled by law to receive permanent status with the district beginning with the 2022-23 school year.
Motion by Board Member Constant, second by Board Member Hirota. And again, any comments? I will again say this similar comment. There are some great names on this list, very well deserved of tenure. So all those in favor, moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries 4-0. Next is item 6.6, new certificated job description, CTE and DE specialist.
Yes, the purpose of this item is to approve a new job description for the position of CTE and dual enrollment specialist. As you know, our CTE and dual enrollment programs have been growing in the district. And most of those programs, or much of the funding, all is grant-related funding. And there are some metrics that are associated with that. And part of that is making sure that we are encouraging and supporting students who have traditionally been underrepresented in our CTE and our dual enrollment programs. You approved a grant, and we received that grant back in December to fund this position. And this enrollment specialist responsibility will be to work with those students, those families, and those teachers to help them navigate through our technical education and dual enrollment pathways that we have. And so staff is recommending approval of this job description for the CTE and dual enrollment specialist. And Dr. Moore has been working with Shane Wagner, our Director of Curriculum Instruction, who works with CTE, has been responsible for much of the grant writing. So she can answer any specific questions you may have about the job description. Staff recommends approval.
Okay, board members? Question, please.
Grant would not have to be given back. In that case, we likely would not continue funding for the position. But I will say that even without this position, we have been increasing and meeting our metrics and target goals in the area of dual enrollment and CTE, so we don't anticipate that. As you saw with our LCAP presentation in January, we've been exceeding those goals, so we're very optimistic, but we would not have to give the money back in this case. It may be that we would qualify for future funding in that unlikely event.
Any other questions? Motion by Board Member Hirota. Is there a second? Second by Board Member Constant. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries 4-0. 6.7, Resolution 2211, intent to convey waterline easement at Roseville High School. Joe.
Yes, this item is to seek the adoption of a resolution of our intent to convey a waterline easement. This was noticed at Roseville High School when we were doing the gymnasium project, that we had a water line that didn't have an easement for the city. And so the next steps would be, the first step was to pass this resolution, and then the next step in April would be to have a public hearing and then do another resolution to grant the easement. So staff recommends adoption of this resolution.
Board members, any questions? Nope. Okay, it's been moved by Board Member Constant, second by Board Member Hirota. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Oh, is this a resolution or is a roll call vote?
Okay, P. Constant,
Heidi Hall,
Yes.
Julie Harada.
Yes.
And Scott Huber.
Yes. And this is for the new gym, is that, you said that, right?
It was noticed.
Got it. Okay, passes 4-0. Item 6.8, vending machine purchase.
Yes, so we've had quite a bit of change over the last couple of years. Food service program for would recall the move towards free lunches for all students that the federal government passed a few years ago and the state government has approved going forward. So that's really impacted us in the way we provide meals for students. We've also had a lot of trouble finding staff. So we've been working on that over the last couple of years, but we believe we finally got a vendor who can provide us with some new vending machines. So the majority of our vending machines were outdated or broken, and we're moving to cashless vending machines. And so students will be able to enter in their ID, like a birthday password. They'll be able to get their free breakfast or free lunch, as well as there'll be vending machines that'll provide snacks throughout the day. Director of Food Service, Jay Brown, is here. This is a project we're really excited about. We think the students are really going to love the use of these machines. It'll help us with providing breakfast, as kids sometimes don't have time to get to school early to get breakfast. We'll have meals in the vending machines that they can grab either right before they get on campus or potentially during their first passing. So the purchase agreement is for 70 vending machines that will be used across the district. And due to the last couple years, we've actually increased the funding of our food service program because we've been serving so many more meals, and actually our expenses have gone way down because we haven't been able to hire as much staff. So this is a really opportune time to use the resources to make this investment to the future of the program. So Jay's here if you have any additional questions. He can provide some additional color if needed. Staff recommends approval.
Before we do have a request to comment on this item. Karen Combest.
There. Karen Combest. I have a daughter at Oakmont. She's a junior, and her name is Lauren, and she is so happy that midterms are done, and I just want to thank you all for that. She's also really super happy that her teachers, some of them, aren't wearing their masks anymore. And she said once they started taking their masks off, it was amazing that all the kids in the classroom started taking theirs off too. That's not part of my, I'm just commenting.
We're
for-
still counting it against your time, though.
Yeah, that's cool. You know what? I'm not going to need my 3 minutes. I, on behalf of my daughter, thank the folks working on the vending machines. Those have been missed tremendously by at least my student and a bunch of her friends. If I could just put a request in to include muffins. Those muffins from last time were fantastic. She just wants the muffins back. But I will make a request as well to the board. You know, we heard tonight about from the band, from Oakmont Band, students, teachers, booster parents, about investment in performing arts, specifically at Oakmont. Many of us who have students at Oakmont are concerned about the reduction in enrollment. We understand it, right? That's natural with the new high school. But with a reduction in enrollment, there's many who are fearful of a reduction of investment in just about everything, including performance art, performing arts, athletics. I mean, you should see our stadium. It's a death trap in the stands. Curriculum, we're worried about losing honors and AP and IB class. Well, maybe not IB classes, but some of the other classes. So all of that is a concern and a fear for parents. And I think you heard that represented here by the band members. And I would just ask that if there is $866,000 for vending machines, I would hope that you can find $30,000 for Oakmont's performing arts and their band. I know it's maybe not the same bucket, but I'm pretty sure we can move some stuff around and get some financial accounting creativity going there. But I bet every school would be willing to give up a vending machine or two in order to have more money in band. So that would be my request. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, board members, any questions, comments?
Sorry to surprise you. I'm trying to understand how so there is, there is a mention to free lunch, free and reduced lunch in here. So I'm wondering how SNAP guidelines and free reduced lunch combined with the vending machine and the meal criteria, does that all match up? And how does it all match up?
Yes, the current plan is to have three breakfast reimbursable machines, which are federal and state government approved, and then also to have three lunch machines, which are state and federal approved also, which comply with the national school lunch plan. That's why these machines cost a little bit more than the average vending machine, because the software, which the government used to audit our program, is incorporated into the machines themselves. These machines are not meant to take the place of the existing lunch program. In fact, the machines will help us expand the program, because we're looking at now offering a hot breakfast program before school, so that way the kids have an option for a hot breakfast to get there. But we find that a lot of high school kids don't get to school on time, or they're starving like after first period, and then their mothers call me and wonder why. So with having this, it will allow us to have kind of like more or less a continental style breakfast out there, a piece of fresh fruit, maybe a muffin, as the one person brought up, and then maybe a little juice. And then if they come during the second period, my plan is to have a person out there with a cart of milks that we can offer in addition. So this is a way to it's a way to meet the needs of our kids, because obviously nutrition plays a key role in learning and behavior issues. So it'll all be 100% compliant. It will also distribute our kids a little bit more away from the lunch lines on campus, because you guys can imagine now we're taking schools that we used to serve 400 meals at, and we're serving 1,200 meals. So that's funneling a lot of kids into the same area, and it's really, really tight. So we're seeing more pushing, shoving, that kind of stuff. So by having these alternate locations, I think that's going to free some things up. Also, part of the lunch program, there's been a battle in our district between peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. People who don't want it because it's an allergen, but yet hundreds of kids that eat them every single day. So one of those lunch machines that goes out there will have all the warnings on it, and it will be completely for just the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So that way I can ensure the parents that the food is not intermingling together.
And so, and maybe it's apples and oranges, so this will also meet the SNAP guidelines for reimbursements?
Yeah, the food service department now has two masters. We have to comply with federal and state guidelines, whichever ones are the strictest. Now that California is footing the bill for the extra lunches and breakfasts for like our kids, they're going into strict enforcement mode. So we'll be getting all of our snacks from the California Healthy Snack Guides for high schools. So some of the items maybe that we had in the vending in the past won't qualify, but we'll have things like shelled sunflower seeds, nuts, maybe some beef jerky, water, 100% juices, those kind of items. But everything will be 100% compliant.
Any other questions? I apologize for this, because I know I don't like to send out a surprise question like right at the end. So if you don't have the answer right now, it's okay.
I love surprises.
Well, I know, but these are sometimes difficult. So I know this was a sole source contract, which is fine. But the question is, how much does that increase the cost of the machines? You mentioned the software. It's not the sole source makes it more expensive. It's the software that makes it more expensive. How much more expensive? And is there some alternative? Because I broke down the numbers, and Jan Penny taught me this, and this is not like a trick, but Jan Penny always looked at stuff at the cost per unit. This is like $12,000+ per machine. which is a lot. And so how much more, I know the software component is an expensive piece of that. It would seem to me, and again, I'm not looking at the same type of machine, but I know typical vending machines are $1,500, $2,000. Maybe this model is more expensive. I have no idea. That's my point is, how much does the software increase the cost of the machine? And is there a way to do it? Maybe there's not, because we have to have some compliance with Big Brother looking over our shoulder to make, but is there a way to do it without, and buy the machines without the software, and use some alternative mechanism for reporting? And this is why I say I apologize, because this is a question that probably may need some research or something, but.
No, I have an answer for you, because I thought the same thing. I've always been a
Yeah.
very conservative person with the food service budget. I never believe in wasting money. That's how we have a good
Beautiful.
good reserve account. But in this particular situation, though, to provide the needs for our kids and provide the lunch line, we needed the kind of program that would work with our existing lunch point of sale software. And that point of software only does business with this particular company.
Got it.
It also incorporates an entire inventory control system. And I have a little bit of experience in this, because I've been kind of running our vending program for the last 20 some years. And we tried at one time buying an aftermarket company called Cantaloupe Systems that came in, and it was strictly an inventory thing, because I wanted a way for the machine to keep track of each item, so that way I could tell parents, well, this is what your kid's spending their money on if they call me asking. Unfortunately, we put it in, and these plug and play things, they didn't play well
They
together.
plug but don't play.
So now we're talking about, I'd have to get like 3 separate programs, integrate them all myself together. So that's why there's a lot of, I guess, a lot of beaks in this deal. They're all taking just a little bit of the money to pay for their share in the machine. But I think that it's a worthwhile purchase. Plus, these machines are made in the United States, which was important to me and our department. I'm not saying every part in them is, because obviously chips and stuff, but the other machines that I had looked into at one time that we were going to have to go back to doing cash only on, we're up to a 2-year waiting list now because of our supply chain issues. And I have had so many students calling me and begging me for their vending. I have parents begging. So while I don't want to say that there's not a possibility to make something work, because clearly I could hire a technical person maybe to come in and write software and do all that stuff for us. This is the best thing on the market that can provide us with the service at the beginning of the year.
Excellent. And last question, will these be on every campus?
Yes, I need to have principals okay on it, but so far, I just have one of them that I'm working with now that still isn't sold on the vending machine idea, but I'm ordering them in because it's going to freeze up. See, I took the opportunity when the federal government cut off the universal meals nationwide. It was only California. I knew then that there would be a dip in the market. So I moved in real quick to get this company. So now I'm racing Oakland Unified to get our order in first to make sure that it's there for the beginning of the year, because a lot of directors think that this is a really nice way to offer, especially for the breakfast program. And these machines, I kind of like the fact that they're all the same exact machine, but they can be reconfigured to any size, and all of them work. So I can make them all snack machines, all breakfast, all of them lunch, and then reconfigure based on what the campus needs are.
Could we double the order and then sell 70 of them to Oakland Unified for an increased price?
I think Joe would put me in jail, but no, but I am purchasing though along with, well, not purchasing. The guy is throwing in, because I sort of insisted on this, with the fear of that motherboards may be real tight with maybe problems with China and Taiwan and all kinds of things. They're going to throw in five additional ones, so then that way we can have them as backup
for spares.
Yeah, I'm also getting compressors, and three additional components of every piece on the machines. And
Beautiful.
since they're all the same, then we can use them, and then I'm not at the mercy of the supply chain.
All right, unless there are any other questions, is there a motion?
Just gonna make an editorial comment that all our schools should get these. These are one of these decisions that I'm sure principals should be making.
With that, I'll move
That's
to approve.
Okay, editorial time over. Got a motion to approve. Is there a second? Motion by Board Member Hirota, second by Board Member Constant. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. And if we can double that order, let me know. We can come.
Thank
I'm
you.
just kidding. Thank you. Sell them on eBay. Okay, item 6.9, electrical vehicle bus purchase. I'm sorry, buses purchase.
Purpose of this item is the staff is seeking approval for the purchase of 3 electric vehicle buses, an amount of $383,000 in change after grant funding. These 3 buses, if we didn't have any of the grants, would be just under 1.3 million. So we're utilizing some good grant programs to help reduce the cost. The infrastructure we've already gotten funding for, and that process is in the works to get charging stations. We're actually putting in additional charging stations in case we're able to grow this program. And so this was the funding we had available to us in Fund 15, where we set aside money to purchase new school buses. So especially with the increased cost of fuel that we've seen go up quite a bit, this would be a great time to look at start expanding electric bus fleet. So staff recommends approval of this purchase for 3 buses.
All right, we've got a motion by Board Member Hirota, second by Board Member Constant. I do have a quick question. How many miles per charge will these buses go?
Actually, currently it's not very. Is it like around 100 or so? 120.
Is that fully loaded with kids or is that empty? Does that compare to the average bus per day that we, like the average bus route that we? Okay.
We still would be using our field buses for any longer field trips.
Sure.
Until this improves, and the infrastructure improves. But we use these for the school routes.
And I know this is a much longer term discussion, but at some point we gotta, we may have an infrastructure problem with if we go at some point all electric or mostly electric, 90% electric and some diesel, then, we may have just keep an eye on the infrastructure component. I know you already know that. You don't need me to tell you that, but.
We gotta buy as many buses. Because these things just go.
Yeah, they do.
We're still hopeful for additional grants. So I mean, we keep looking for additional grant funding. So I'm hoping that more will come available. Continue to expand.
Okay, we had a speaker card turn in for Mr. Richter.
I have a question about the electric buses. I recall a few years ago we were putting in solar panels at some locations, some high schools. Is that correct?
Just have solar at Granite Bay High School.
Okay, are we planning to expand that if we're going to go to more electric buses? So maybe we can reduce the cost, because otherwise you're kind of just pushing the fuel costs around, right? You're moving it from diesel or gas, which is now very expensive, over into electrical, and now you're dependent on the electrical. And if the grid goes down or the prices go up, then we're kind of in the same boat. So we got that on the horizon, that we're looking at something like that to reduce that.
We ran the numbers on solar, and the reason why Granite Bay is the only one that has solar is because that's the only one where it penciled out. As electric costs increase, and solar costs go down, it will soon pencil out for our other schools as well. And the short answer is, when it does pencil out for them, we will certainly do that.
Okay, so
Oh, no, we're looking at it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're looking at it hard. That's, I did have an interesting, just anecdotally, I had an interesting conversation with someone when those were going in, about, oh, well, of course Granite Bay is getting the shade, in their parking lot first. And I said, okay, first off, that's not shade, it's solar. And second, they have PG&E, and if you don't have a PG&E bill, you understand, you live in Rockland. If you have a PG&E bill, you understand. Now, Smud's not as bad as some of the others. So Antelope is going to be probably the next one, because their rates are typically higher than Roseville City. But we do have a good partner in Roseville City for our electric fees for schools. They're pretty decent. The rates are pretty good. So, which is why it doesn't pencil out as much for solar. Great question, though. Thank you. Okay, it was moved and seconded. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries 4-0. 6.10, student Chromebooks annual purchase.
I am spending a lot of money today. This is budgeted. This is part of our annual process of purchasing the new Chromebooks for the incoming freshmen. So we had really good results with the Dell Chromebook that we used last year, and so we got some reduced pricing for next year with the same model. And so we recommend the approval of purchasing 2,900 Chromebooks, the amount of $926,000 and change. Staff recommends the approval.
Board members, any questions, comments?
Attrition.
It's very low. We sometimes we have breakages, but we were able to repair most of those in-house now that we've been able to build up the skill set. And I know we have replacement keyboards and screens. So there are some that we have to send through warranty, but it's probably less than 5%.
Yes, because they're lasting.
They're performing pretty well, lasting 4 years.
And when we started this, I think that was the big concern.
Yeah, I think that I had the same concern that kids would shove them in their backpack and throw them around, and I think, but
And they do.
They do, but luckily it hasn't cost us much.
They're lasting. That's good. I moved to.
Motion by Board Member Hirota. Is there a second? Second by Board Member Constant. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries 4-0. Okay, next scheduled meeting is, I believe, April 7. Is that correct? April 8. Like I said, April 8th on Friday at 2 p.m. at the district office. And pending agenda items, I'm not going to read those. Board members, one of the things I would like you to think about, and it will likely be on before we have, I believe, April 8th, one of the pending items will be a special board meeting to appoint a new board member. One of the things that I would like you to think about before then is what are the criteria that we should utilize? Should we, I know there's a question about should we know where they live or not? Is there a threshold by which we would interview everybody, and above a certain number of applicants, we would put in a process to limit the number of, if we have 50 applicants, I don't know that we can interview them. I don't think we're going to get 50, but do we want to, talk about that before the next meeting? If we do, then say the word, and I'll send around a doodle poll when we're available to do a special meeting with just that on it to sort of establish criteria. I don't know if you have any thoughts. Let me know on that.
When will we know how many applicants there are?
Deadline is the 30th. So April 1st, we will know.
So I have a suggestion. Is maybe once we know the number, then it will make sense to kind of have a special board meeting to determine the criteria if that number is significant.
Okay. Thoughts?
I mean, if it's 3 people, then I'm not sure criteria is going to do us good. If it's 30, we might want to have a special board meeting. Just a thought.
I agree, but I'm also someone who loves process.
Well, I mean, if we make criteria and there's no one meets the
I don't know necessarily criteria, but if there's more than three,
criteria.
3.
I would say
Not,
just picking some
not that
random
it,
number.
not that it matters, but I will tell you, I've been on the board almost 18 years, 18 and a half years ago, or whenever, I guess a day on top of whenever it was. When I was first appointed to this board almost 18 years ago, there were 10. There were 10 individuals. And I,
When
was,
Andrew was here,
were there 10? And so we just interviewed them all. So why don't we do this? We'll wait till March 31 or April 1st. I'll send around an email to everybody. And the only thing in the email will be, here's the number, would you like to have a special meeting, yes or no? Just to establish criteria. And there's no violation of the Brown Act in that, just so everybody knows, because we're not talking about the subject matter. It's only, do we want to have the meeting or not? So, okay, you got it. So set your alarms for 12:01 on April 1st. I will stay AM, of course. I will send that email out. All right, board and staff comments. Why don't we start down here? Joe.
Tonight is, and I think I say this every year, it's always my favorite board meeting when we get to recognize our classified employees of the year. Not only are these 6 individuals just great people, but there are many others that were nominated or could be nominated. Just our classified employees are often unsung heroes, so it's really great to be able to recognize them. We can't do the great work we do without their help, so I just wanted to acknowledge that and acknowledge our classified employees who are part of the day.
Same thing. We're celebrating the certificated employees tonight. The classified employees tonight, certificated employees a few weeks ago. And I know that our staff will do well at the county level. I also want to just take a moment to realize that the board approved Probe 1s to Probe 2 or Probe 2s to permanent status, 105. We have roughly 600 certificated staff members, almost 20%, 18% of our certificated staff members have been hired or moved into a new position over the last 2 years. So you take that on top of navigating a pandemic. It's been a lot of change, opening a new school, rebranding of alt ed. And so as we've gone into the staffing meetings of late, there's a lot of emotion in them. And so we just have to be mindful of what our principals are doing, what our teachers are doing right now in terms of having these conversations about where they're going to be working next year. And I know that as long as they're working in Roseville Joint, no matter which school, it's going to be a great experience. But there's still conversations that need to be had with some grace as well as some understanding. And so I applaud what our principals have been working through the last few weeks. And I also applaud our teachers who have been part of those conversations, tough conversations about possible transfers and such. So at the same time, we continue to go to job fairs. Mr. Garabedian and I are going to take a trip next week. We're trying to find some outstanding special education teachers to join our district, and we'll continue to bring in the best. But anyway, I wanted to acknowledge that we moved 105 staff members forward. Thank you.
I just wanted to, again, recognize our classified employees. We have an amazing group. Seems like it gets better and better, and I always just enjoy recognizing them. Wish we can give them all one of those every year because most of them deserve it. The second thing, on Monday and Tuesday, we had our professional development days across the district, so I really just want to express my appreciation to the Ed Services team and Jen Layton kind of ringleader of that group, but they put on an amazing 2 days for our staff. And then the second day was a district-wide training for our behavior threat assessment management program. That's no easy task. It's not an optimistic, positive topic to spend an entire PD day on, but our sites did it, and it's another step towards implementation. So again, I want to thank Julie Winkle, Sheila Stein, Roseville Police Department for putting this all together and continuing this progress. It's at least been 2, maybe 3 years that this has been going, and the other Tuesday was a big step for that. Next, today we had another just outstanding unified sports event district-wide. We had a softball tournament over at Antelope. Again, our unified sports coaches and teachers and staff are just amazing, and they continue to grow that program. And ultimately, our goal is to become a champion district and serving those students and getting them as involved in our athletic programs as possible. And last but not least, Oakmont High School is going to start their WASC visit on Sunday. So they will be going through the accreditation process next week. It's a lot of work, but they are prepared, and then they will show their stuff, and I'm confident they'll have a good week.
Thank you.
It's all been said. Skipped.
She said no comment.
It was great seeing all of the staff tonight winning awards. It was all very encouraging and felt like a normal meeting, so that's exciting. I am super excited about the vending machines. I know that's a weird thing to be excited about, but at those student forums with the LCAPs where the students got to give their feedback about the schools, each campus had that same feedback. Someone specifically requested muffins, in fact. And so the students are just going to be really happy about this. And I didn't realize exactly how it worked until you explained it. So thank you. If you ever need any help with healthy food approval, it's my wheelhouse.
These must be some muffins.
I want to taste the muffins, but no, really. I mean, I'm excited about them. I think it's great. And I still am wanting to find out about the home testing option for teachers. Do our teachers get to do their COVID tests from home yet?
We're working on it.
We're working on it. Okay. That's it.
Till those kids see they can't get the M&Ms out of those vending machines, that'll be a whole another level of disappointment. But I just want to say thanks for inviting me to the Professional Development Day. It was great getting out there and seeing all the teachers in mass. I think we sometimes forget just how many teachers we have. Seeing them all in one place at one time was wonderful, and the burrito I got to take with me to work was good too.
Yeah, and I want to apologize. I had it on my calendar to be there and was called out of town on short notice. So I apologize for not being there because I wanted to be there and be there, with Pete to say hello to everybody and to grab a burrito. But I want to congratulate also the classified employees. They do a great job, and I mean that sincerely when I said that we have a higher than normal or higher than average number of county employees of the year. When you look at the number of districts we have in the county, our employees are on that list, on the county employee of the year, more so than our proportion would dictate if it were just strictly a proportional. We have great employees in this district, and again, I will say it before, I've said it again, I'll say it a lot. I will take our struggles every day of the week over some other district struggles. You could not pay me to take some of the struggles that some of our neighboring districts, like I won't call them out by name. There are some that I just wouldn't, I would not want their struggles, man. I don't know how they're doing it. And that is in large measure because of the partnership and the collaboration that we have among staff and administration and the board. And is it a perfect relationship? No, but we're working on it. and but it's better than others. And so, like I said, I wouldn't trade our district for any other. But I apologize for not being there on the in-service day, to be there to say hello. With that, we will see you April 8th, Friday, 2 p.m. at the district office. Did I get that right? I think I did. Yep. All righty. Thanks again, everybody. Meeting adjourned.